All right, let's jump right in. And today we are taking a deep dive into the world of Spanish adjectives.
Ooh, sounds fun.
Yeah, we have got a transcript here from a Spanish language lesson.
Okay.
And well, I was really surprised to find out there's a lot more to these descriptive words than I thought.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot going on with Spanish adjectives.
So, what is it about these Spanish adjectives that make them so special?
Well, one of the biggest things is that in Spanish, there's this idea of agreement. It's
Okay.
one of the biggest differences between English and Spanish.
Agreement. Hmm.
It means that an adjective has to match the noun that it's describing, like in gender and number.
Oh, wait. Gender? So you mean like masculine and feminine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Every noun in Spanish has a gender. It's considered either masculine or feminine or neuter.
Okay.
And so the ending of the adjective actually changes
Huh.
depending on the gender of the noun.
So it's not just enough to know the word for like beautiful.
Right.
You have to know the masculine form and the feminine form.
Yeah, you got it. Think of it like a secret code that's kind of embedded in the language.
Right.
So, for example, let's take the word sano. That means healthy.
Hmm.
If you're talking about a healthy man,
Right.
un hombre sano.
Okay.
You use the masculine form.
Right.
But if you're talking about a healthy woman,
Okay.
una mujer sana,
Okay.
then you'd use the feminine form.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's like the language itself is reflecting the difference between genders.
That's a great way to think about it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh no, there's more.
Yeah. Spanish adjectives also have to agree in number.
Okay.
So that means if you're talking about multiple things, the adjective needs to be plural too.
Oh, okay. So singular noun, singular adjective,
All right.
plural noun, plural adjective.
Exactly.
Seems pretty straightforward.
It is, for the most part, pretty straightforward. Usually you just add an S to the end of an adjective to make it plural.
Okay.
But, like any good language, Spanish likes to throw in some fun little quirks to keep you on your toes.
Oh boy. Here come the curveballs.
Don't worry. They are not too tricky once you get the hang of them.
Okay.
For instance, some words that end in Y, or U, can add either an S or E in the plural.
Oh, so there's some flexibility there.
Yeah, exactly. So, Himi in the lesson gives this example of Marrakech
Right.
for people from Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it either way. Marrakech or Marrakech.
Both correct.
Both totally correct.
Wow.
And then you have words ending in a Z, which actually change to a C before you add the ES for the plural.
Okay.
Like audaz,
Okay.
meaning bold, becomes audaces in the plural form.
So even with these exceptions, the main rule is that the adjective has to match the noun, both in gender and number.
Exactly. There are no excuses.
Got it.
And, this agreement is really crucial to being able to understand the nuances of Spanish. It's really like this delicate dance between the adjective and the noun,
Oh, I like that.
where they kind of have to move in perfect harmony.
Very cool. So we've covered the gender and number agreement.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there about Spanish adjectives that is so fascinating?
Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Oh,
It's not just about the form of the adjective, but also its placement in the sentence.
oh, okay.
Because in Spanish, unlike in English, the adjective often comes after the noun.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
So instead of saying the big house,
right.
you would say the house big.
Exactly. You got it.
Wow.
So Jaime used the phrase, un coche grande,
Okay.
which is literally a car big.
Oh, wow.
It's a total mind shift for us English speakers.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, it actually starts to feel really natural.
Okay. I can see how this would lead to some interesting situations.
Oh,
Oh, absolutely. Especially for someone who is, just learning the language.
Sure.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It gets even more fascinating because the placement of the adjective can actually change the entire meaning of the phrase. Whoa. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Okay, get ready for this one.
Okay.
So he gave this example of una niña pobre,
Okay.
which means, a poor girl in the sense that she doesn't have a lot of money.
Right.
But if you switch the order
Yeah.
and you say una pobre niña,
Okay.
now it becomes like a poor, unfortunate girl.
Wow.
It's like you're adding this whole other layer of empathy and emotion.
That's incredible just by changing the word order.
Yeah. It's really amazing how much you can do with just word order.
Wow. So it's like you are adding your own emotional color to the description just by where you put that adjective.
Precisely. And that's just one example.
Wow.
This ability to kind of play with the adjective placement gives Spanish speakers a very unique way to express themselves.
Right.
It's like they've got this whole other set of tools that they can use
Right.
to create these different shades of meaning.
Very cool. So it's almost like painting with words. That's a great way to put it. And this is one of the things that makes learning Spanish so interesting, I think.
It is.
Because once you start to get these nuances,
Yeah,
you realize you're not just learning a language, you're learning a whole other way to think and to express yourself.
that's right.
It's amazing how much depth and richness you can pack into these seemingly simple words, just these adjectives.
That's amazing.
So we've covered that general rule and some of those mind-blowing exceptions.
Yeah.
Are there any other placement quirks that we should know about?
Oh, yeah. There are always more things to explore
Oh, good.
with Spanish adjectives. So, those verbs that we use all the time, like ser and estar or parecer.
Mm-hmm.
When you're using those verbs, the adjective usually comes after the verb.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So you would say, he is happy,
Right.
not happy he is.
Gotcha.
It's like the verb sets the stage and then the adjective comes in and describes the subject.
Right.
And then there are these special cases with words like major for better
Mm-hmm.
and pair for worse.
Right.
And those usually like to go before the noun.
So it would be the best friend,
Yeah.
not the friend best.
Exactly. It's like they're emphasizing how important they are by going first.
Interesting.
And then don't forget about those ordinal numbers like primero, segundo, etc.
Right.
Where those go can really depend on what you are trying to emphasize in the sentence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's some flexibility there.
Mm-hmm.
I am starting to realize that mastering Spanish adjective placement is a journey,
It is.
but it seems like a really fun one.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's like every new rule you learn,
Yeah.
it opens up this whole new level of fluency or
Oh.
just like expressiveness.
So we've been talking a lot about the rules and the structure
Yeah.
of Spanish adjectives, but I am kind of curious,
Yeah.
how does all of this play out, like
Yeah.
in real life conversations? What is
Yeah.
the impact of all this nuance?
That's a great question. And it really kind of gets to the heart of what makes Spanish so expressive and so beautiful
Okay.
as a language.
Yeah.
You see, with Spanish adjectives, you can convey so much more than just a simple description.
Okay.
You can add in layers of emotion or emphasis,
Oh, wow.
even humor sometimes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
So it's not just about being grammatically correct.
right.
It's about really like using these adjectives to bring your words to life.
Exactly. So, let's go back to that example of una niña pobre versus una pobre niña.
Right.
When you put that adjective, that pobre, before the noun,
Right.
it kind of becomes more than just a statement of fact.
Right.
It's an expression of empathy. It's almost like saying, oh, that poor, unfortunate girl.
Oh, I see. It's like you are adding in your own emotional color to the description just in where you put that adjective.
Exactly. And this ability to play with the adjective placement gives Spanish speakers just such a unique way to express themselves.
Right.
It's like having this whole other set of tools that you can use
Yeah.
to create all these different shades of meaning.
That is so cool.
It is.
It really is like painting with words.
Exactly. And this is one of the things that just makes learning Spanish so captivating. Because once you start to understand these nuances,
Yeah. Yeah.
you realize that you're not just learning a language.
Right.
You're learning a whole other way
Mm-hmm.
to think and express yourself.
That's right.
It's really amazing.
It's amazing how much depth and richness
Oh, yeah.
can be packed into these seemingly simple words.
I know, right?
These adjectives.
Amazing.
So, for someone who's just starting out
Yeah.
with Spanish, what's the best way to approach all of this?
Right.
Is it just like memorizing all the rules?
Well, memorization is definitely part of it,
Okay.
especially when it comes to those gender and number agreements.
Right.
But I think the real key is to immerse yourself in the language
Okay.
as much as possible.
Yeah.
Listen to how native speakers use adjectives. Pay attention to the placement.
Right.
And just try to get a feel for the subtle ways that they use them to create these different effects.
So it's more about developing like an intuition
Yeah,
for the language rather
Yeah.
than just trying to follow all the rules.
exactly. And that intuition comes with practice,
Yeah.
with listening, with reading, and with speaking.
Right.
The more that you expose yourself to Spanish, the more natural these nuances will become.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
It's amazing how much we've learned from just this one simple Spanish language lesson.
I know, it's amazing.
And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me
Yeah.
is that Spanish adjectives are more than just grammatical elements.
Yeah.
They're tools for expression and creativity
Mm-hmm.
and for, connecting with the language on a deeper level.
I couldn't agree more. It's about finding the music in the language, the
Yes.
rhythm of the words,
Right.
and the subtle ways that those adjectives can just bring it all to life.
Great. Before we wrap up.
Yeah. I have one final question for a listener.
Okay.
We've talked about how adjective placement can change the meaning of a phrase,
Yeah.
but why do you think that is?
Right.
What advantage do you think that gives Spanish speakers?
That is a great question.
Right.
It really kind of gets to the heart of what makes language so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it allows for a greater range of emotional expression,
Right.
or maybe it reflects a different way of thinking about the world.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about
For sure.
as you continue on your Spanish journey.
I don't know about you, but I am ready to, go and practice my Spanish adjectives after this.
Me too. Yeah.
I think our listener is going to walk away from this deep dive
Yeah.
with a whole new appreciation for, just how powerful these Spanish adjectives can be.
Right, for sure.
It's not just about memorizing all those rules.
Right.
It's really about understanding
Mm.
how these words can add so much depth and emotion,
Yeah.
and even, poetry to your Spanish conversations.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's like unlocking this secret code
Yeah.
that allows you to, express yourself in a whole new way.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's do a quick recap of those key takeaways for our listener.
Okay.
We started out by exploring this idea of agreement,
Right.
where the adjective has to match the noun in gender and number.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw how that seemingly simple rule,
Right.
it really adds a whole other layer of complexity to the
Yeah.
Spanish language.
It does.
And then we dove into that super fascinating world of adjective placement.
Yeah, that was fun.
And we discovered that the order of the words can completely change the meaning
It's
and the
so-
feeling of a phrase.
Yeah.
And that Spanish really allows for this level of expressiveness
Yeah.
that is just so captivating.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think most importantly, what we learned
Mhm.
is that Spanish adjectives are way more than just grammatical elements.
Right.
They're really tools for creativity,
Totally.
for conveying emotion,
Mhm.
and for connecting with the language on this deeper level.
It's about embracing that music of the language.
Yes,
And letting those adjectives sing.
I love that.
Yeah.
So to our listener out there, I hope that this deep dive
Mm-hmm.
has really sparked your curiosity
Yeah.
and inspired you to go out there and learn even more about Spanish adjectives.
Absolutely. There is so much to learn.
And remember, every new word you learn,
Yes.
every rule you master,
Mm-hmm.
brings you one step closer to fluency.
That's right.
And it opens up this whole new world of possibilities.
I love it.
Thanks for joining us for this linguistic adventure.
Yeah, this is great.
Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep those Spanish adjectives flowing.